Okay, so recording. Okay, right. So we have started with third topic, like a designing part of the plastic component, and in that third topic, basically in the first and second topic, we have gone for the descriptions. Descriptions in the sense the basic requirements for the plastic, for the mold, for the setup, for the processing, for the joining, right? So basic info only we have gone through, and now we have started with the fundamentals or the terms that are required for the designing. Okay, so this designing of the plastic part will not be as difficult as your machine design. Okay, because there you are designing each and every component or each and every unit of that particular setup. Okay, and that time you will have to consider so many parameters, but in a plastic component design you will be getting one or two components hardly, and you will have to just design that, and that is also quite in an approximation way. Because designing is the like an approximation method, because many times you are considering this, considering that, assumptions are there, so many assumptions are there, and based on that assumption only we are going ahead for the designing, so that this tolerance allowance concept is there because of the assumption. When we'll have the perfect data, that time we can go for the perfect designing. Okay, but generally because of the assumptions, we'll have to go for the tolerances. So we have started with the tolerances of molded plastic parts, and we have seen this upper limit, lower limit, upper deviation, lower deviation, right? Then we have gone for the allowances also. The basic difference also I told you that allowances is a intentional, okay, to get a required fit. Required fit in the sense adjustment, like a clearance fit, in transference fit, transition fit. Adjustment in the sense like nut and bolt. This is a kind of small assembly, right? Nut and bolt. One is externally threaded, one is internally threaded. Okay, so that we are adjusting with each other. Okay, so that is a kind of fit. Okay, and to get this nut and bolt adjustment, you need to have the allowances. Okay, so want that adjustment. Okay, that threads we require that threads, we require that assembly. Okay, so that we are intentionally giving the scope for the variation. That is called as allowances. So allowances is intentional, tolerances is because of the limitations with respect to main material machine. Okay, then we have started with the designing aspect of the small units. Okay, sorry for disturbance. So then we have started with the individual parts, like designing of the wall thickness. Not actually designing, what kind of factors are considered, while thinking about this wall thickness, while thinking about these corners. Okay, now we are going to see about the undercuts, holes, ribs, insert. Okay, so these are the small units, or what I can call this as the elements of each and every part. Because see, this wall thickness is going to be there for every component, right? For while designing every component, you will have to consider about the wall thickness. These are the common parameters, and not a component specific. Corners are going to be there, undercuts are going to be there, holes are going to be there. Okay, not for all component, but a common factor. Ribs are going to be there, inserts. Okay, so these are the common factors or the common elements which are going to be a part of each and every component, so that some basic information we are accessing about this component, sorry, these elements. Okay, so that can be applicable commonly to all the components. Okay, Separate designing of the component will be a different process. It will be having a different process, but a small process is there for designing these small elements. Okay, and then at the end this there is a design procedure for simple plastic components. So here it will be a complete process considering undercuts, holes, ribs, inserts. Okay, that way. Then we have gone for the like draft design. Okay, in the draft design part, this draft, if I want to summarize it, draft means what? See, the expectation is here that the component is a rectangular or square shape. In this, I mean a plane surface. Okay, plane surface. This I have shown it here in this figure as inclined, but in the design it is a plane surface. But see, when this mold will be there, this kind of mold will be there when you will pour the liquid material, and when you are trying to remove the solid component from the mold, because of this more contact area, this component will stick to the mold. Okay, it is very difficult to remove from exactly from this mold. Okay, so what we are doing, we are giving this inclined surface, we are adjusting this contact area. Okay, so because of this it is easy to remove, because see, at this top section it is a less contact surface, and at this bottom section it is a wide. Okay, so there is a complete totally variation from top to bottom. Because of that you can easily remove the component. A simple basic uh, what we can call the aim of this draft is the component can be easily removed from the mold. Okay, so that we are not giving so much of draft angle. Otherwise, see, more draft angle means you need to have more material, more liquid material at the start. Okay, so that is the best, so that we are providing only a least quantity, sorry, least angle, and this angle limit is zero 0.5 to 1 degree, or hardly maximum 2 degree. Okay, so minimum 0.5, maximum 2 degree. In MCQ, if you are having option of 0.5 to 1 degree, then you can go for that. So max 2 degree, minimum 0.5 degree. So that's for the draft. Then we have gone for the ribs. Okay, here I have shown the ribs. Ribs means what? Again, this is not a requirement of the component. This is not the requirement of the component. It is there for managing the load. It is there for managing the stiffness. Okay, okay, so this will provide a rigidity or stiffness to the component. Okay, it is actually inverted, it is shown inverted, this component. So this extra sections or these protrusions are nothing but the ribs. Okay, whenever you will apply load from this side, from the bottom sides, this load will be distributed on these three ribs, right? So the life of the component can be increased. Okay, so we have gone for this ribs also. That is a simple thing to provide a stiffness or to increase the stiffness of the component. Okay, so this rib thickness should be 60 to 80% of wall thickness. Distance between the ribs should be at least 2 times the nominal wall thickness. Okay, if the question will be like that, what will be preferred? Maximum ribs or less ribs with more thickness? Two options are there: more number of ribs or less number of ribs with more thickness. Okay, so answer should be more number of ribs. Okay, more number of ribs. So rather than preferring a single rib of 100 millimeter diameter, I'll prefer 10 ribs of 10 millimeter diameter each. Okay, so more number of ribs will give or will provide more stiffness to the component, because load is going to be carried by that many number of ribs. Okay, so that's what the simple clear cut agenda. Then see, this is the picture. Rather than single rib, just go for the two ribs. Just go for the two ribs. Then we have gone for the wall thickness. Wall thickness, I told you, for each and every components. See, more wall thickness means there are so many issues. First thing is that more wall thickness, obviously it will give strength to the component, but it will add material to the component, it will add cost to the component, it will create a problem while cooling the component, because more wall thickness means more resistance for heat transfer. More resistance for heat transfer. Okay, so because of that, the structure at the wall and structure at the inside of the component, at the internal areas of the component, will be different. Okay, so distortion may be possible. So wall thickness will be preferred optimum. Okay, see, because less wall thickness, obviously less material, less cost, but strength will be also less. More wall thickness, more material, more cost, more heat transfer resistance, but more strength. Okay, so pros and cons are there. So preferred is optimum wall thickness, and the range is 0.5 to 4 millimeter. Okay, 0.5 to 4 millimeter. Then some of the issues also we have discussed, like wall thickness should not vary immediately or instantly. Okay, it should vary gradually, slowly. Okay, here are the examples given in the first section. In the first this picture, if you see, there is an instant variation in the wall thickness. So what is happening at the start? More wall thickness, at the end less wall thickness. The basic problem will be because of the heat transfer rate, because high wall thickness will have heat resistance, less wall thickness will have less resistance. So cooling rate will be different at the different surface. So different cooling rate, different structure formation. Okay, different structure formation, so possibility of distortion, okay. Again, because of the more wall thickness, see, this kind of voids may be also possible, because see, more wall thickness means heat transfer resistance, so cooling will be very slow, so possibility of getting voids, or this sink marks because of uneven cooling, okay. So these many number of factors are there with respect to wall thickness. Okay, now then we have gone for this design of corners also. Okay, same way, the how the wall thickness was showing the various issues with respect to heat transfer resistance, with respect to cooling rate. Okay, similar way, wall thickness is going to play a role in case of corners, because see, in this picture, if you are observing here, wall thickness at the upper end, at the bottom, sorry, at the horizontal arm and at the vertical arm, it's constant in this figure, but wall thickness exactly at this corner, exactly at this breach, is more, because it is now, this is a surface which is meeting this horizontal arm and vertical arm. So here exactly at this corner, this is a diagonal. Okay, so more wall thickness, so more wall thickness means here cooling rate will be different. Already, because of sharp corner, there is a possibility of stress concentration at the design point of view. Second, because of the more wall thickness, there is a change in cooling rate. Cooling rate at upper hand different, cooling rate at lower hand different, and cooling rate at cross section is different. So possibility of distortion. Okay, so because 1.4 times this, the wall thickness is 1.4 times the nominal wall thickness. So what is the uh, solution for that? Go for this kind of wall thickness, avoid corners and maintain constant uniform wall thickness throughout the component whenever possible. Okay, so this you can go for this cylindrical type or this oval type shape rather than going for sharp corners. Then here also, this is one of the case with this sink marks, because at this arm different cross section and at the vertical arm different cross section. So this material will sink down, in this vertical arm, right? And at this cross section, only at this junction of vertical arm and horizontal arm, there is a large wall thickness, and because of that cooling will go slowly, more material it will take down, and sinking is possible, this kind of sinking. Okay, so possibly go for this is nothing but the kind of rib, go for less thick rib. Okay, so that's what about the wall thickness. Here also one of the example is given, rather than going for sharp corners, go for this kind of shape. Okay, rounded shape. Now one of the important one, undercut. Okay, see, undercut means what? Undercut, like, undercut doesn't only simply mean it is inside, it is internal. Okay, it can be a external, it can be a internal. Getting it? Okay, so it is indentation or projection. Simple thing, it is indentation or projection. Indentation means what? Indentation means going inside the surface, and projection means what? Like a protrusion. okay, going above, over and above the surface. Over and above the surface is a protrusion or projection, and inside the surface or inside the component will be indentation. Okay, right? So that is what the undercut, right? Now undercut is sometimes desired as a design point of view, sometimes it is a component point of view. Okay, now see, basically undercut is not preferred. First thing, keep it in mind, undercut is not preferred because, see, because of the undercut there is a so much of complexity while designing the mold. Design of the component is quite easy, but to design the mold for that component is difficult. Because at the end you are going to remove the component from the mold, and if some indentation or protrusion will be there on the component will get locked. Component will get locked, and once it will get locked in the mold, it is difficult to remove. It is difficult to remove the component from the mold. Okay, so basically undercuts are not preferred, but if it is at all requirement of the design, then by managing the mold or by managing this undercut at parting line, some provisions are there. By that way you can go for the undercut. Okay, I'll show the undercut here. Look here, just check the figure. Are you observing this internal undercut? Okay, here it was a out external undercut. Okay, this extra region, extra section, as like rib. Okay, this protrusion. Okay, this is the external undercut, and this one in this figure it is shown internal one. Okay, this is internal undercut. Okay, so both are difficult. External is also difficult, internal is also difficult. Okay, external undercut, because of external undercut component is getting locked inside the mold, and because of internal undercut we need to provide pins. Because see, you need to have this internal inside sections in the component. To create that sections you need to insert, or you need to have inserts or the pins. Getting it? Okay, rather this figure will explain clearly. Okay, I'll zoom it. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. If you are observing in this section, okay, in this section, if you check it, here is the undercut. This is the internal undercut. Are you getting? Okay, look at the cursor. It is shown here undercut. Okay, now see, this is the required. This is required. Okay, maybe for assembly purpose. Okay, you know the nut and bolt assembly. There is a simply clear cut undercuts are there. Threads are what? Threads are nothing but the undercuts. Okay, and if these threads will not be there, there is no any possibility of getting nut and bolt assembly. Okay, so one is externally threaded, one is internally threaded. So one is having external undercuts, another is having internal undercuts. Getting it? Okay, and if that undercuts will not be there, there is nut and bolt assembly will not be there. Simple thing. Okay, so sometimes it is unavoidable. So here it is shown undercut. Okay, so first one figure, this first one is without undercut, and this second and third one is a with undercut. Okay, here is also it is shown in this figure. This is this is the part, this is inside undercut. Okay, it is shown indentation inside this component. Okay, now what has happened here? If I'll just minute, if you check these two figures, if you check these two figures, the first two, which is shown vertically, the first figure is showing right and second figure is showing wrong. Okay, wrong in the sense design of the component is showing wrong. Why? One of the term we have seen in the last lecture, like and draft angle. Are you observing in the second figure, in this one, lower one? It is exactly having a more surface contact. It is exactly having more surface contact. So it is difficult to remove the component from this. Getting? So here it is a draft angle is provided. Okay, so draft angle is like an inclination, so that we can easily remove that. Okay, so one of the case will be whenever there is an undercut, you can go for the draft angle. You can go for the draft, so that you can easily remove the component from the mold. Okay, because problem is there whenever there is an undercut. The problem is with the removing of the component from the mold. That is the basically. Okay, so there are some like cylindrical undercuts, rectangular undercuts, circular undercuts. Okay, here it is a circular or cylindrical undercut. Kidding? Okay, so right. Okay, so stripping is difficult in case of undercut. Okay, here it is mentioned, stripping is difficult. Stripping is nothing but removing of the component from the mold. It is called as stripping. Okay, so stripping is difficult, so one of the option is by providing shallow undercut, or by providing such a mold or such a undercuts which will be at parting line, because from the parting line we are removing or we are separating the molds, we are separating the components. Getting it? Okay, so if you can provide the undercut at parting line, it can be easily removed. Okay, okay, see, so I'll enlarge this. Here you will see why it is required undercut. Okay, see, now this is like a nut and bolt type assembly. Similar way, threads are there on the surface. Threads are there. Okay, so these undercuts are required. Without that, this assembly is not possible. Without this assembly is not possible. So this below resonance. Okay, simple plastic components. Okay, threaded one, threaded undercuts. Okay, see here also in this component, here is the one undercut, cylindrical undercut inside. Okay, and here are the also undercuts because of the threads. Okay, so what I want to say, undercuts sometimes are must because of the design aspect, because of the assembly requirement. But to get that undercuts, you need to go for either sliding type mold. Sliding type mold means through that undercut it can be easily slided, so that it can be stripping will be easy, or split type mold. Okay, so this is what the undercut are there. Okay, next one is holes. Just a minute. Okay, holes. Now if you see the holes, now I think it will be visible properly. See, now hole, basically there are two types of hole: through hole and blind hole. Okay, you may have seen this. Through hole means what? A transparent hole from top surface to bottom surface. Okay, throughout, mostly we are calling it is a throughout hole. Okay, so it is a through hole and one is a blind hole. Blind hole means what? One opening is closed, so it is not throughout from top surface to bottom surface. In the second figure it is shown. Okay, blind hole, blind hole. Okay, so through hole means throughout or long, and blind hole means it is a one-sided hole. Okay, now simply by, if you see these two figures, you can easily think, or you can easily get the picture that it is easy to get the through hole, because what is required there? Only you need to have diameter of the hole. Once you know the diameter, there is no case of depth of the hole. Getting it? whenever you are drilling inside the components, it is very difficult to measure the depth of the hole. Okay, because there you need to mark on the drill, you need to mark on the drill bit that much of height, and once the drill bit will be inserted up to that limit, you will have to remove that. Okay, but what kind of hole is generated inside the component is very difficult to access. Once there is a through hole, you know that start from one surface, go to the bottom surface. Okay, so only the element that will come into the picture is the diameter of the hole in case of through hole. In case of blind hole, diameter and the depth, diameter and the depth. Okay, so easy to design the through hole, but it is difficult to design the blind hole. It is difficult to design the blind hole. Okay, so that's what I have given at the end. Through holes are easier to produce, but blind holes are created by using core pins. Okay, now these are the some of the parameters they have given. See, diameter pins means what? Because this diameter pin will support the hole from one end, because support is required from the one end. Here in case of through hole, that will not be case. Because see, while you are drilling a hole inside the components, a blind hole, okay, so you cannot ensure that it is exactly at the center, whatever center you have decided. Okay, it may be possible that the drill bit go in an inclined way, drill bit will pass in an inclined way, so rather than being a vertical hole, it will be an inclined hole. Okay, then assembly will be difficult. Okay, so that pins will restrict this deflection, or it will make the hole at the center. Okay, so these are the some of the parameters with respect to pin and the hole. Okay, if pin size is less than 3 by 16 inch, then length of the hole and the diameter of the hole is preferred in this way. Okay, now these things. Okay, this is a simple component, and thickness of the component, just time being considered that there is no any hole. This is a simple component, simple rectangular plastic component. Thickness of the component is a capital T. Okay, thickness of the component is a capital T. And D is the diameter of the hole which we required. Okay, now whenever there are multiple holes on the surface, whenever we want multiple holes on the single surface, there must be some specification for diameter of the hole, distance of the center of the hole from the corners, and the distance between the center of the two holes. Because what is going to happen, see, one by one we'll go for. If this hole, just take consider the first hole, if the first hole or the hole is very close to the corner, is very close to the surface end, okay, there is a possibility that crack will generate from that end. There is a possibility that crack will generate from that end. Okay, so there must be a proper distance between center of the hole and corner of the surface, center of the hole and corner of the surface. Okay, so and that distance preferred is 2 times the thickness of component, 2 times the wall thickness, 2 times the wall thickness. Okay, so the edge of the hole, edge of the hole should be away, at least away by 2 times the wall thickness from the corner of the surface. Okay, so distance between this surface and the corner of the component must be 2 times the wall thickness. Because why? Because if the hole will be very close to the corner, possibility of getting cracks. Okay, possibility of getting cracks. Second thing, the distance between the two holes or the multiple holes. Okay, because again same thing, if holes are very close to each other and whenever you are going for the assembly afterwards, obviously the holes are going to expand. Okay, so that time there is a possibility of again generating the crack, or there is a possibility of distortion of component, distortion of component. Okay, because if holes are very close to each other, there will be a very less material to support the component. Getting it? Okay, so there must be a proper distance between the two holes. Okay, and what is the that's proper requirement? Proper requirement should be 2 times the wall thickness, 2 times the wall thickness. Okay, not the distance between two centers, distance between the two corners of the holes. Okay, distance between the surface of the holes. So this distance here it is shown. So it must be 2 times the wall thickness. Again, corner of the hole must be 2 times the wall thickness from the corner of the surface. Okay, so that's what is expected. At least minimum, the distance between the holes should be minimum equal to diameter, of the hole. Okay, distance between the holes. Okay, so this is what at least expected while designing the holes for any of the plastic component. And then next one is inserts. Now insert, just a minute. See, basically inserts are made from a metallic material or a material which is harder than parent material or the parent component. Okay, material which is harder than parent component, right? So what is the role of insert? Inserts are used in plastic parts to take care of wear and tear, to carry the mechanical stresses, because see, the density of the plastic is less. So if there will be more mechanical stresses, obviously the destruction will be very easy, right? And wear and tear of plastic is also very easy because of the less density. Okay, so to provide support, the inserts are provided. To provide support, inserts are provided. Okay, so generally inserts are incorporated in the bosses. Okay, now don't get confused. What is the bosses? How it is inserted? How it looks like? Once you will see the picture in the 1 minute, in the 1 second, you will understand it. Okay, check it. Okay, this is nothing but the assembly of the simple fan. Getting it? Okay, now check at the center. Getting it? Okay, here it is a metallic insert. Here it is a metallic insert. Are you observing it? It is a metallic insert. Okay, so why this metallic insert is required? Now that explanation is not required. Getting it? This is a simple fan blade assembly, and this fan blade assembly is going to be mounted on the shaft which is connected to the motor. Okay, and this assembly will be mounted on the shaft and then it will start rotating. Getting it? To have that shaft and this assembly, we need to have these inserts. Okay, and obviously as it is going to rotate continuously, we need to have some good kind of inserts. See, you cannot provide the plastic inserts here. Because of continuous rotation, heat generation, it will easily wear out. It is easily tear out. Okay, so it cannot sustain the stresses. To sustain that, we are using the material which is harder or stronger than parent material. Okay, and this cylindrical section over which blades are there. This cylindrical section over which blades are there is called as a bosses. Okay, boss, BOOS, boss. Okay, inside the boss, these inserts are provided. Okay, over the surface of boss, these blades are there. Are you getting the meaning? So this is nothing but the inserts, right? And many times now you may now you got the clear picture of inserts. Okay, now immediately you will start imagining the various components that we are observing in a daily life where you will find these inserts. Getting it? Okay, now your question will be, why these inserts are required from the start? It can be inserted after the mold, I mean after getting the solid component. Okay, so there are two ways. Or you can consider there are two types of insert attachment. One is a molded in inserts and another is a post molded inserts. Got the meaning? Molded in insert means what? When the material will be in a liquid state, when we are pouring the material inside the mold, that time only I will adjust this component, this insert. Okay, that's called as a molded in insert. And when we are inserting after getting this component, if we are inserting, obviously by pressurizing, okay, by rotating, you can insert that. Okay, like you are inserting screws inside the component. Okay, that way. Okay, so that is called as a post molded inserts. So both ways are possible: molded in inserts and post molded inserts. Okay, I think I don't have another figure. So this is explaining everything. Okay, so this is a boss, and inside that this insert is. Okay, so see, the basic role of insert is what? To provide required mechanical strength. Okay, or to provide required access for assembly. What is going to happen? This assembly of blade and boss is going to be mounted on shaft of the motor. So that shaft and this assembly is going to be there. So to have the access for that assembly, this insert is required. Okay, so you can see many such kind of inserts which are used in a plastic materials. So you may be there will be a question that why to go for mold in insert. I mean, before getting solid component. See, when you are trying to insert these inserts after mold, when you are having solid components, like you are tightening the screw inside the component, similar way, when you are trying to push this solid hard component inside this plastic afterwards, so you will not get a proper attachment with this component, getting it. But when the material is in a liquid state before pouring into the mold, if you will use this insert, and when this material will collected around this component, now what is going to happen? This material is in a hot state, hot liquid state. While it is solidifying, it will be solidifying very close to the outside surface of this insert. It will hold it very tightly. It will hold it very tightly. So so that this tightness is possible only if you are going for mold in insert, whenever it is in a liquid state, whenever it is a liquid state. Okay, simple. Just take the example of ice cream candy. Okay, candy ice cream, how that stick is there for candy ice cream, getting it. Okay, so that stick, when that stick is inserted, when that entire material is in a liquid state before solidifying, that time that sticks are inserted. Okay, and once it will solidify, you just hold that stick. All the load of that material, ice cream material, will be on that particular small stick. Still it can hold that load. Now do another one experiment. Don't insert that wooden stick inside that mold. Okay, let that ice cream material solidify, remove it, and now try to insert that wooden stick inside that ice cream. Okay, it will get inserted, but it will create two to three effects while inserting inside that ice cream material or any other material. Either it will create more sized holes if it is a circular one, or if it is a rectangular, it will create a extra size, extra space inside the component, or it will distort the component. Are you getting? If you try to push it forcibly inside the plastic component, it will simply distort the, so there is a possibility of generating the cracks. Okay, so better to go for mold in inserts. Okay, that's why the inserts are provided when the material is in a liquid state. A simple understand, simply understand, it is there to provide mechanical stress. It is there to withstand wear and tear of the component. It is there to give the access for assembly, to make the assembly. Okay, right? So what care you will have to take? Just one care you will have to take. See, while you are pouring the liquid molten plastic material inside the mold, ensure that this will not displace from its original size, sorry, original location. Getting it? Are you getting the meaning? Now if you check this figure, it is exactly placed at the center, exactly placed at the center. Okay, so that care you have to take care, because of the force of the material. See, whenever you are pouring the material inside the mold, you are using like injection molding, compression molding, transfer molding, die molding, that kind of processes which are run by the machines. So material is coming inside the mold very fastly. So because of that force, it should not happen that this insert will displace from its original position. Okay, ensure that then it is a molding insert will be good to go rather than post molded inserts. Okay, so these are the insert, okay, which are required for assembly purpose or providing mechanical strength or to adjust with the wear and tear. And the last one is the mold material. Okay, now see, obviously you are going for plastic components, so there must be such a kind of mold material which is having more strength than plastic, which is having more melting point than plastic, because plastic material is coming inside the mold in a very hot condition, in a liquid condition, in a molten condition. So obviously the melting temperature of mold cavity, mold surface, mold material must be greater than melting point of parent material or the component material. Okay, so that we are preferring steel, aluminum, copper, nickel, depends on component. Okay, mostly preferred is a steel. Okay, steel because non-sticky nature, getting steel because non-sticky nature, because otherwise it will be very difficult to remove the component from the mold. Okay, aluminum also, if you check the aluminum also, check the surface of the aluminum, glossy surface. Okay, only thing is that steel is having more strength, aluminum is having less strength, right? Okay, so that's what the, now if you check the material, generally mostly in all kind of processes, steel and aluminum is preferred for mold. Okay, steel or aluminum is preferred for mold, but it depends on what kind of component is required, what kind of component is required. Okay, so basically if anytime you will get the question, you can go for aluminum and steel as a basic material. Sometimes it is a copper based alloys. Okay, copper based alloy, copper zinc or copper beryllium or copper nickel, right? So these are the common materials which are used for the manufacturing of mold. Okay, so that's what the elements which are required to consider before going for actual design process. Okay, mold materials, inserts, then holes or the hole design, then it is undercuts. Okay, undercuts, and then sharp corners or this design of corners, design of wall thickness, and design of ribs, design of draft. Okay, that's what they are. Okay, here you can see wall thickness, corners, undercuts, holes, ribs, and inserts. Okay, and brief information about the mold material, right? So so that's what the elements, these are the basic elements which are required for designing each and every components. Okay, now once we'll start with the next session, from the next session we'll start with the designing of simple plastic component. Okay, so in this designing process, what is going to be there, there will not be a question for designing of entire component, there will not be a question for designing of the entire setup, there will be question for designing a simple component, simple element of a large component. Okay, okay, so that's how, like designing of simple chair, right? So for that you should aware about some of the part of machine design, some of the part of your strength of material, SOM. Okay, or some of the part of your TOM, part in the sense like not so much, but at least basic understanding of theories of failures, basic understandings of stress and strains, getting it? Okay, so if you are aware about that, you can easily solve the problems based on the simple plastic components. Okay, so mostly problems are asked for designing of the simple plastic components, right? So that's what for today. In the next session we'll start with the design procedure for simple plastic component, and then we'll have more numericals in our practical.